Hi guys, this is Zilla and welcome to my final video on the test server. This is an upgraded Ranger. What I did was I played a whole bunch of battles and battleships, cruisers, a couple destroyers, and gathered my resources and upgraded the Ranger. I also experimented with different ships including Japanese carriers, but I wanted to show you this when this was the last one I was able to record before unfortunately the test ended, and it was a good test. I enjoyed it thoroughly and I wish I could play it more. So anyway, the first thing I do on the Ranger, as I discovered that CV sniping is a thing, and since your CV is completely vulnerable and you have no defense for it, I run to the back and hide behind that island. And the first thing I bring out are these rocket fighters. These are F4F Wildcats. They are pretty darn quick, but they turn like a pig on an ice skating rink. The first thing they're going to do is scout for farragets. They're going to scout for any ships that are within range that can spot the carrier, because you're a sitting duck. And one of my suggestions to Wargaming was that you need a toggle that allows you to flip between your squadron and your ship so that you can actually maneuver, firefight, repair, what have you on your ship without losing the squadron, because as it is right now, you lose your squadron. They return to the ship. So I'm lining up for a rocket run. I'm a little bit short on it. One of the things they need to do with these rocket planes attacked like a strafing run, at a shallow angle. They didn't drop the rockets like they were bombs, like these are doing. As you can see, my squadron is rapidly disappearing with the anti-aircraft fire at Tier 6. Mind you, this is Tier 6, alright? And it is eating up these planes, and they're gone. So I go and I get another squadron ready to go. This time they are torpedo bombers. These are Douglas Devastators, famous from the Battle of Midway as being almost completely ineffective. But again, these planes don't turn fast enough. They turn like a drunken moose. It's just they're not reacting the way the planes are supposed to be. A little bit more nimble, and certainly a little bit quicker to respond than they are in the current iteration of this test server. I'm quite sure that they're going to address that, and I'm quite sure that they're going to address the anti-aircraft issue as well. One of the things I've discovered is that ship captains, using the control key, can switch the weight of anti-aircraft fire from one to the other side of the ship. So you can go port or starboard side and rush all your anti-aircraft to one side of the ship. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, they put rockets on zeros, and that doesn't make any sense either. So I'm coming in for an approach with my torpedo bombers, and I'm probably going to miss. You know, the definition of being insane is doing the same thing twice, expecting a different result. I went into this group of ships before, and I got slaughtered. And I'm going into it again. I'm going to release these torpedoes a little bit too far back. That battleship happens to be a New Mexico. Shot down all of my planes. A New Mexico shot down all of my planes. So I'm bringing out the dive bombers. Now some of you might think, well, these are Dauntless. No, they're not. These are actually Vought Vindicators. Vought Vindicators served very briefly in the 30s before they were replaced by the Douglas Dauntless. Again, they're so slow as far as turning goes. They get out there quick, but then they can't really maneuver around. I don't expect them to turn on a dime, but at the same time, if you look at the way they're moving around, it's pretty darn slow. The results, however, of this battle are going to be a little bit better than what I had in the last battle. my first battle that I did. And the graphics are great. They're beautiful. They are cleaning it up. I did play games after this where they had fixed the canopies so that they look like canopies on the planes, and had some engine effects on there, but it's beautiful. And now in a regular game, I find myself wanting to do this when I'm playing my CV, whether it be co-op, random, or what have you. So I'm heading in against these isolated ships. That's what you do as a carrier. You look for that brave guy, the one who's going to stand alone. And there's 3 of them together here. There's a cruiser, destroyer, and a battleship. And I'm going to go after the battleship. Now look, they're eating these planes up. It's, again, in New Mexico. And I get ahead and I start firing. And that's a bot. That's New Mexico, guys. Think about that when you're thinking about planes going up against Montana. You know, or a Kurfürst, or a Conqueror, or a Republic. You're not going to have any left. It's just not going to happen. So I bring out the torpedo bombers again, and I'm flying along. You know, people in the forums have pointed out several things that need to be fixed. I'm fairly in agreement with them, but one guy commented on it, and he doesn't even play warships. And that kind of irritated me because, and I'll just put this out there, I know many players in this game who were dying to get on this test server. And you're going to accept a guy who doesn't even play your game to evaluate it? Are you kidding me? Really? That is so unfair. And if I were Wargaming and I read that post, that guy would never participate in any testing again. And he's going to trash this, and he doesn't even play the game? Really? Anyway, that's enough of my rant. Here I'm going to make a torpedo run. Same little group. They've added a ship to it. Somebody meandered on over. And you just look at the planes kind of disappeared. A little bit better this time. They didn't all die. Pass over the destroyer. Try and swing into the cruiser. Don't think I made it. Don't think I made that shot. But you can see my planes just evaporate. What I did there is I called up fighters to support on that side of the map, and as my planes evaporate. Now if you look at the screen at the bottom, you'll see 3 little numbers. Those are the number of planes that you have available to run. The planes are unlimited. Now I read some complaints about that. Get over, dude. Tell me, how much ammunition does a Shimakaze have? How much ammunition does a Montana have? It's unlimited. Carriers should be treated no differently. It's unlimited. And they're like, well, it's overpowered. No, it's not. Look at the amount of time it takes for me to get from the carrier to the target area and then hope that I hit something before all my planes are shot down. Because in the current iteration, most likely all of your planes are going to get shot down. Okay? And then they have a cooldown, and they slowly build up numbers until you get enough where you can take an effective squadron out. This happens to be a squadron of 6. Okay? So, which is pretty standard. At the higher end, you get squadrons that are bigger. You actually get more planes going in. But to me, that just gives the enemy ships a better target to shoot at and more opportunity to shoot down more planes. So I'm going after this battleship, and I'm going to make an approach with the dive bombers, and I approach way too soon. That's a nasty habit I have. I need to break that. It is pretty to look at, though, and the gameplay is fun. There's just a few things I wish they'd address, and I'm sure they will. One is the rocket planes. They need to make the rockets drop at a shallower level, come down at a shallow level, like you're strafing a target, instead of dropping them like bombs. I have gotten better with the rocket planes, but I think if you had a HUD that showed a line way ahead of you, and you were in a strafing run, that would be a little bit better. Also, and I desperately try to sink this cruiser. Look how low he is on health. I am desperately trying to sink this cruiser, but he shoots down all my planes, so, you know, oh well. 6 of one, half dozen of another. So I take off in torpedo bombers again. I still have really no clear idea of what that second button does. The one in the middle. It says engine coolant, but it's for afterburner. But where's the afterburner? I don't see the afterburner. You know, and you don't call it afterburner on a piston engine. American planes tended to have turbocharged superchargers. I don't know if the Japanese had that. I'm doubting that they did, due to the fact that the Zero changed very, very little from the 1930s until 1945. And they had a few other models they came out with that were heavier. Nakajima comes to mind, but the American planes were always very, very, very good and very reliable. That's a nice torpedo run, but I think he's going to dodge it. The torpedoes are very slow. Nope, I actually got a hit there. The torpedoes will go at 36 knots. Too slow. Ships can avoid them very easily. Yeah, so again, that's something else that needs to be addressed. There's some fine-tuning with the graphics. Certainly the turning radius of the planes needs to be addressed. They're turning way too slow. The attrition rate of the aircraft needs to be tweaked. And Wargaming knows. That's why it's a test. Wargaming's just, they put this out there and they said, okay, we're almost there and we want to see how this works. And they tried it out. You had no captain skills, to be fair. And you don't have any modules or anything like that to put on them. And if you want camouflage, it costs 5,000 credits to get it. So overall, my impressions is this is very, very good, and it's going to be very fun once they iron out some of the problems. But the test server is done. I look forward to being invited to the next one. Until next time, you guys be good to each other and have a wonderful day. Bye.